Welcome back, students. Very good morning to all of you. So today we will start with our module 5. That is about Biot and Savart law. This is one of the most important law in electromagnetism, which deals with how a flowing current, if a current is passing through a conducting wire, how it produces a magnetic field at a distance. Okay, so it deals with the relation between flowing current and magnetic field. Just like we had in electrostatics, we had electric field and electric charge. How a resting electric charge is related to the magnetic field. An electric field. How an electric field is produced by a resting electric charge. Here things are different. Here how a magnetic field is produced by a moving electric charge. So that is the content of this module. So that is dealt with what is called Biot and Savart law. Okay, so for dealing with Biot and Savart law, you need a current conducting wire. Okay, so this is the wire, a current I is passing through it. So how that current I will produce a magnetic field at a distance? Okay, so that is a question. So Biot and Savart law basically explains how magnetic field is produced by a constant electric current. Okay, there is relation. Okay, so it relates many things actually. It relates magnetic field to the magnitude of the current, direction of the current, length of the wire that we have taken. Okay, how much is the length of the wire we have taken into account to find the magnetic field at a point. So length of the wire is also important, and of course the proximity of the electric current. Proximity simply implies the distance of that point, whichever point you are talking about. So distance of that point from the wire element. So of course you know the distance vary with wire element, but we have certain special geometry, some regular geometry is there. So those regular geometry we can use to find the magnetic field. So such standard formulas we can frame for regular geometries like a straight wire or a circular wire or a square wire or a triangular wire. We have standard equations which can be easily framed with the help of simple mathematics. Okay, so it is, you can say, it is equivalent to fundamental law in magnetostatics. It is a base of the law in magnetostatics, just like we had a Coulomb's law in electrostatics. Okay, so now let us enter into the quantitative side of the Biot and Savart law. So we have before that we have this luminaries, Jean-Baptiste Biot, French physicist, and Felix Savart, who is also a French citizen. They collaboratively framed this law, which is known as Biot-Savart law. Okay, so let's come to the quantitative side. So suppose you have a wire which carries a current I. Then magnetic field at a distance r from that wire is proportional to many things. It's proportional to the current element. So what is the length of the wire we have taken? dl. Suppose dl wire we have taken. What is the contribution of dl at a distance r? What is the current magnitude? The magnitude of the current flowing. Usually dl is a vector and its direction will be the direction of the current. Okay. So current is flowing upward, the dl will be upward. If current is flowing downward, dl will be downward. Of course, the third parameter is 1 by r square. Means there is an inverse square proportionality. If r increases, accordingly, magnetic field will decrease in the inverse square manner. Okay. So that is another thing. And thirdly, the magnetic field is proportional to magnetic field at which place this place is proportional to sine of the angle between current element and this distance element. Suppose you can assume a unit vector r cap along this direction. So this is r cap and this is dl. Then you can imagine the angle between dl and r cap is theta. So sine of theta, sine of that angle is also important. Okay, dl is like this and r cap or vector r is like this. So angle between them we count it as theta. So these are the factors on which the magnetic field depends. So you can sum up it together. So what we get? dB is proportional to IDL sin theta by r square. Or you can have a constant here. So we get dB is equal to a constant IDL sin theta by r square. Usually this its value has been experimentally found, and that is given by 10⁻⁻7 ampere per meter. Okay, and you can also equivalently write using notations in magnetostatics like mu0, which is called the absolute permittivity. Okay, absolute permittivity of free space, and 4 pi is a simple numerical constant. This is actually experimentally calculated value, and for various theoretical purpose we take it as, instead of writing 10⁻⁻7, you take it as mu0 of 4 pi for making certain mathematical manipulations at different derivations. Okay, no other content. Otherwise in numerical problem you can straight away go with 10⁻⁻7. So what we get it, finally we have dB is equal to mu0 by 4 pi IDL sin theta by r square. Okay, so same thing is given here. So we have the wire here, so our current is flowing like this. So what about this is the point A. Okay, so what about the direction of current? Sorry, direction of magnetic field. Direction of magnetic field will be, in fact, it will be into the plane of the paper or screen. You can say magnetic field at the point A will be into the plane of the screen. Okay, it will be pointing into downwards, you can say. So there is a very simple rule to find the magnetic field around the wire. Suppose you take your right hand and suppose your thumb is towards the current. Current is now in the yellow arrow, you can see. Your thumb is along the direction, or current is also in the same direction. If you hold that wire using your right hand, then all your fingers will wrap up along the wire. Then the direction of the rest of the fingers will be along the direction of magnetic. So this is called a right hand thumb rule. So that will give you the direction of magnetic field. Okay, the rest of the fingers will be along this. You can just experience by holding a wire like this. So that is why this is called a right hand thumb rule. So now you can see the entire, this is a scalar equation. The same scalar equation you can now write in the form of vector form. You see, same thing, both equations are same, but one is scalar, another is vectorial equation. Because here you have a vector dl cross r cap. So r cap is nothing but its magnitude 1. So dl cross r cap will give dl into 1 into sin theta. Theta is the angle between vector dl and vector r. So obviously both equations are same, numerically same, but magnitude wise different. And the dl cross r cap, you can see that it will be directed into the plane of the screen. Okay, so that is the direction of the magnetic field at the point A. So everywhere the direction of magnetic field we can find it in the same way. Okay, so this is the complete equation of Biot and Savart. So things are same here also, you can see. So the direction of magnetic field at the point A is shown here. It is exactly downward, and if you take the left hand side of the wire, then where the direction of magnetic field will be outward. Okay, that is out of the plane of the screen. That is the difference. And same things are shown here with the thumb. Whatever be the direction of current, you can accordingly using right hand screw rule, you can right hand thumb rule, you can properly show the direction of current and direction of magnetic. So that is not a big problem. Okay, so same things are shown here, and easy matter with your right hand. Okay. Now using the concept of Biot and Savart, let us find the magnetic field due to an infinitely long wire. So we have a long wire, okay, straight wire whose length is infinitely large, very large. and we are interested to find the magnetic field at the point P. Okay, so what we have to do, we will take a current element, a small piece of wire, and then we will calculate the magnetic field at the point P due to this piece of wire. And subsequently we will do what? We will add up the contribution due to different pieces of wire. That means you can sum up, you can integrate in mathematics. So when you integrate the contribution of each and every piece of wire, integrate all contribution of each and every piece of wire, you will get the total magnetic field at the point P. You will get the total magnetic field at the point P. Okay, so let us see that how this is done. So we have the Biot and Savart law. dB is equal to mu 0 4 pi I dl cross r cap by r square. Okay, your dl is here, your r is like this. So let us suppose the angle between this dl and r cap is say phi cap. Phi is another notation in Greek alphabet. So obviously this angle will be 180 minus phi. That is shown here, pi minus phi. Okay, so and this is 90 degree. Okay, so that is clear from the figure. And the vertical distance to the point P from the center of the wire is x. That is another factor. And of course this is x, and so this is y. So you can, this will be x square plus y square, square root of x square plus y square. So that is not a problem. So we have dB is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi I dl cross r. So dB is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi I dl cross r cap by r square. So we have the Biot and Savart law here, mu 0 by 4 pi I dl cross r cap by r square. So already we have mentioned you the angle between dl and r cap is phi. So here what can we do is, if you take the cross product of dl and r cap, that will give you dl 1 dl dot 1 into sin phi, obviously. Okay, so that is dl sin phi by r square. And we have then this is due to the current elements shown here, this one. So the magnetic field, the total magnetic field at the point P with the entire wire, you can write like this. So integral dB is b, on the right hand side also you have to integrate mu 0 by 4 pi I dl sin phi by r square. Okay, so that is very clear. And what we can do is, this sin phi we can re-evaluate in another way. We have this right angle triangle here. This is pi minus phi, and this is theta, and this is 90. So from the figure it is clear that 190 minus phi is equal to 90 minus theta. Okay, this is 90 minus theta. At the same time, this is 180 minus phi. Both are same angle. This. Okay, so you can write 180 minus phi is equal to 90 minus theta, or phi is equal to 180 minus 90 plus theta, or phi is equal to 90 plus theta. So it implies that you can replace this phi with 90 plus theta. So what we get, b is equal to mu 0 4 pi I dl sin 90 plus theta. Okay, sin 90 plus theta. So we replaced our phi with 90 plus theta. So sin 90 plus theta is simply cos theta, that we know very well. So we have this b is equal to integral mu 0 4 pi I dl cos theta by r square. Okay, and now comes the figure again. We have here, so this dl is there. Okay, dl. If you want to integrate this function, you have to rearrange the dl in some way. So what we can do is come to the figure again. If you take the tan theta, what we get is that will be equal to L by x. L is the distance to the current element from the origin, and this is x already. So tan theta is equal to L by x. So L is equal to x tan theta. Okay, now you can have a differential here. What about dl? dl will be equal to x tan theta, x of differential of tan theta. So that will be c square theta d theta. Obviously we know the differential, fundamental differential forms. So differential of tan theta will be c square theta d theta. So we have replaced here dl. This dl is replaced with the x c square theta d theta. Okay, so let us do that. So what happens then? C square theta is of course 1 by cos square theta d theta. Okay, so let us now replace the dl. So b is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi I. This one is replaced with x 1 by cos square theta d theta, and we have cos theta by r square. Okay, so this r square is already there, cos theta is also there. So this is already present there, so we included that also. Okay, the same thing, b is equal to now you can see inside a certain cos theta you can neglect. Okay, you can replace it. Before that, you should also know that from the same triangle you can write cos theta is equal to x by r, or r is equal to x by cos theta. Same triangle you can use the previous diagram. Okay, now we replace your r also with x by cos theta r square. So there are so many cos theta now, you can just cancel it. So when you cancel all the cos theta, just rearrange it. It's a very matter of simple algebra. So finally what we get is equal to integral mu 0 by 4 pi x I cos theta d theta. Okay, so that is equal to b is equal to, take all constants outside, mu 0 4 pi x I integral cos theta d theta. Okay, so just a matter of rearrangement, because these are all constants, Now what is inside the integration? Only cos theta d theta is there. Okay, so we have cos theta d theta inside. So suppose your wire is not infinite, instead is a small wire, then you can imagine that this theta on the upper side it is theta 2 and on the lower side it is theta 1. That means the angle vary from theta 1 to theta 2. Okay, for a finite wire. So then our integration will be like this, because we have the limits now, because wire is not infinite length. So lower limits will be theta 1 and upper limits will be theta 2. So what we get, b is equal to mu 0 4 pi x I sin theta 2 minus sin theta 1. So that is what is given. Okay, this equation is sufficient for a wire provided that its length is small. Okay, the length is small. But if length is large, assume that it's an infinitely long wire. So what will happen? When the wire length becomes infinitely long, this angle extends to infinity. When this wire length, this blue line extends to infinity, then this angle becomes pi by 2. Okay, the angle OP, okay, OPDL become pi by 2. That means 90 degrees. Similarly, on the other side also, this length will extend to infinity. Then at the bottom also, the angle become pi by 2. So one side you can call minus pi by 2 and the upper side you can call plus pi by 2. So if you apply these limits, new limits, okay, new limits if you apply here, you have one side sin pi by 2 minus sin, this one become minus pi by 2. Okay, so we applied the limits. So what happens now? Sin pi by 2 is 1 and sin minus pi by 2 is minus 1. So obviously this get added up. So finally you will have the equation b is equal to mu 0 I by 2 pi x. We got a very compact, simple, a beautiful equation for finding the magnetic field of the infinitely long wire. It's a very simple equation. Okay, so this is the way how magnetic field due to different wire geometries are derived actually. First we did what we did Biot-Savart law that help us to find the magnetic field of a small piece of wire. Okay, then we use that basic equation to find the magnetic field of a finite piece of wire. Okay, instead of small piece we had a finite piece, and then we extended it for finding the magnetic field of a infinitely long wire. So we got a regular, very compact equation. And similarly we can use the same equation Biot-Savart law for finding the magnetic field due to different wire geometries. For example, a circular wire, for a square wire, or for a rectangular wire. For any such regular geometries, we can find the magnetic field at any point using the fundamental divergence law. So this is the application, and experimentally also this was found to be correct. All the theoretical calculation exactly matches with the value obtained. The value means value of the magnetic field obtained at any distance. Okay. So this is a method, and in the next class also we will see how the Dalton-Sawant law can be used to find the magnetic field of a circular wire. Okay. If you get it to be a circular wire, you can find it to be a solenoid also. It's a very matter of simply multiplying with the number of turns, that way you can find the magnetic field of any geometry. Okay, so now come to the assignment. We have the assignment here. Okay, so assignment goes like this. A current of 1 ampere is flowing through a straight conductor of length 16 centimeter. What is the magnetic induction at a point 10 centimeter on the either end of the wire? Okay. So we have this wire like this. Okay. This length is given, total length is given, and you are asked to find out the magnetic field at this point. At this point. So with this length, you can easily find requisite numbers, requisite values for centimeter 2 and centimeter 1, as we got in the previous theory. So obviously you can get the value of magnetic field, and you can also find the direction of the magnetic field at the point P. So you do it as an assignment. Okay. So possibly you may get an answer like this. You can verify your answer with the answer shown here. And we have another question. It is optional whether you want to do the first question or second question. It is up to you, but this is for your choice. And if you want to do both questions, fine. A long wire is carrying a current of 50 ampere in the plane of paper in north-south direction. Find the magnitude and direction of magnetic field at a point 2.5 meter east of the wire. So this is the diagram picture. Always you try to draw some diagram, whether a diagram is given in the problem or not. So you make it as an habit to draw some diagram to show the given values. Okay. So diagram is shown here, and you can apply appropriate theories and find the final answer. Okay, so this could be the possible answer. You can verify your answer with this given answer. So with this comments, let us conclude today's module. Thank you all of you.